speaking of Ryan Donato.
Yes.
Been asking.
I know
Katie
you want to
to
get to this. Yeah.
pull this up. So you were saying, if Donato had been asked about what do you want to be traded, everything. What we weren't able to get to on the show last night was Ryan Donato's post-game comments, and we start right in the middle of it. I believe it was Mark Lazarus is asking how Donato has been handling this season and with trade rumors swirling, and that's kind of where the direction of the post-game press conference went. So this was Donato from last night after his 4-point night.
I don't know. I mean, I always say it's my faith. I pray a lot, and things have been great this year. A lot of good things. I have a new daughter at home, and I think that's the key for me.
Did you come close to a fourth point before?
Can't remember, to be honest with you. So many games that blend in. I'm sure once or twice, but not many.
Seems like for a second game in a row, you and Bedard have something on the power play. What's going on there?
I mean, I give a lot of credit to him. I mean, he's so easy to play with. He's so easy to, read as you get to know him. He can see everything. So he's going to have obviously that release that he has, and that scares teams. And if you get open, he's going to find you too.
Was that a no look that you had on him, or on that pass to him?
Not really. I mean, I saw where he was going, but I didn't want to, let anybody see where I was going at the same time. But I mean, I had to look a little bit, but he was kind of in the corner of my eye.
How have you continued to focus and play when you got us asking you about the trade deadline every day and all this stuff? How have you managed to just kind of lock in?
I mean, I just try not to read into it, right? I always say, we have the best jobs in the world, right? We're NHL hockey players, and, it's nice to get the win and all that, but it's hard, obviously, not to focus on that sometimes. But, I just know God has a plan for me, and come to work every day and, give it my all.
I know it's a business, but do you feel like you're a big part of building the culture here?
I hope so. I mean, I want to do the right things, be a mentor for some of the younger guys, and I know how hard it is, especially when you're not winning every night, and it's tough. But I think at the same time, we have a lot of great leaders in this room, the guys that I look up to too, and there's definitely a good group of guys in here.
Since you worked in your skating last summer, have you felt faster this year? That last goal seemed like maybe an example where you were able to create separation that maybe last year wouldn't have been doable for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I worked on my skating a ton this summer, and it was something that this league is, everybody can skate really well. If you get 1% better, it's something. It makes a huge difference in your own game, and for me, that's something I worked on, and hopefully I can continue to try and get better at that and continue to reap benefits from it.
The third guy in your line, Landon Slager, what's he been like skating?
He's an animal. I mean, he's an awesome kid. Honestly, one of the nicest kids I've had the pleasure of meeting, especially as a guy that's young, and he brings a fresh energy every day. He's happy. He's go-lucky. He's I think I've heard people describe him as a dog on a bone, and that's true. I mean, he doesn't care. He's going to work as hard as he possibly can, and he wants to learn too, and those are the type of guys you want in your locker room.
Maybe don't fight Luke Shen for your first one.
Yeah, I don't think he had any idea what he was doing. I think he just, he got excited. When the adrenaline gets you, stuff happens. I think afterwards he was like, "Oh boy," but he did a great job holding his own, and did a good job of protecting himself after, and that definitely gave us a spark for the rest of the game.
So there's no confusion. That was from last night's game.
Yes, last night's game.
So yeah, I mean, I think one of the interesting things that he said regarding his future with the org is that he wants to do the right thing, and he wants to feel like he's part of the culture building and being in that role. So I mean, to me, it sounds like, and he said it at the beginning of the year. If you watch the first episode of this season's Every Shift, where they focus on him and his new baby with his wife and everything, and how he's been on 5 teams in 8 years. Like, stability could be a thing that is a driving factor in what he wants to do with his future moving forward. So whether that's here in Chicago, or if not, picking up and moving again in the middle of this season, being traded, if that's something he doesn't want to do, maybe that is something that Kyle Davidson honors, and then honors it with also an extension. Like, I think it's still, as Greg was pointing out last night, like, just really comes down to what Donato wants to do. And I mean, he seems like a guy that would, from the outside looking in, would probably benefit from saying, hey, you're having your career best season. If you go and continue doing this on a contender into a playoff run, you are going to be probably wildly overpaid this summer.
Yeah, sure.
From some team. Or do you ride this out, believe in what the Blackhawks are doing, and play a role higher than you would on a contending team, and maybe be overpaid a little bit to be kind of in that Foligno and Dickinson role where you are the veteran leader, you are the mentor, and you're going to try and help move things forward. Like and you get stability. You get to be in Chicago for X amount of years rather than bouncing from team to team. So like, what does he value is going to be important.
Well, look, I mean, Elliot Friedman mentioned the Oilers, right? And you're talking about opportunity versus going to try to win and having a great playoff performance. Where is he playing on the Oilers? McDavid, Arvidsson, Hyman, Draisaitl, Skinner, Perry, Nugent Hopkins, Janmark, Brown, Henrique, Podkolzin, Kapanen.
He
squeezing on the fourth line.
He's the 12th forward.
Sure. Or he can play on the first line with Connor Bedard the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing too, and I think that I have to remind myself of this. I know we all do, and I think fans need to be aware of this too. Like, there's more that goes into these considerations than the hockey part of things. And the new family, the young family, the constant moving that he's had to go through in his career, he's got an opportunity to lay down roots here a little bit, even if it's for 2 or 3 years, if they choose to have more children and those children choose to play hockey. There's great hockey opportunities for his kids out here. Nick Foligno talks about that all the time.
You got to imagine that Donato family is going to have more hockey players.
Sure. Yes, I would think so too. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just, there's more to it. And like the facilities the Blackhawks have versus other teams in the NHL. There's so many things that go into a consideration here. Aside from where is the team in the standings, right now, that guys consider. And I do think Ryan Donato is a guy who is going to look beyond money, right? He's not in it just to get rich. I think he's in it to make the best situation for himself and his family. And I certainly think the Blackhawks can provide that opportunity for him as well as any team in the NHL can.
Maybe.
We all silly like the mayor.